All right, aloha, friends. Welcome to another episode of Game Time with the Goss. I'm Brian Gossett with GM Sports Media, and we're talking about UIL Boys Basketball State Tournament. And today's guest is one of my good buddies, Kenny Matthews, aka the Chocolate Bear, with Friday Night Glory. The state tournament starts on Thursday, 8:30, bright and early, 8:30 a.m. with the 1A semifinals, and runs through Saturday with all six state championships over there at San Antonio in the Alamo Dome. And Kenny will be there for Friday night, the 6A semifinals, 7 and 8:30, and Saturday's title games. I guess Kenny, thanks for hopping on, but I guess we got to start with the top team in the state, Plano East. Still haven't lost a game, 38-0, 2 wins away from a remarkable undefeated state championship season. I know you got to see him a couple of times, especially last weekend at the regional tournament, beating Eaton in the semis and Keller in the Region 1 final. Um,
Yeah,
just talk about Plano East. Are you still kind of high on them? And, can they get these 2 wins and get the job done?
I'm still very high on Plano East. I think, when we had the basketball tournaments, during Christmas this year, well, right after Christmas, when they beat Stony Point in that great game, 5-point win in the championship game, you kind of got a sense with that team had a mission, to go forward. I didn't think that they were going to get tested very much in their district. But the thing that you have to like about Plano East is that this is really one of the first teams that since I've been covering basketball here in the area, that is a team. They play as a team. There's not an I at all in that team. And the one thing that I really, really, really do is they bought into it. These guys have been playing since the third grade together. Last year they had the tough losses against Plano in district, gut wrenching losses, last year. Then they lost to the eventual state champion Lake Collins at SMU last year in the second round by 3 points. I think that team kind of really fueled their fire after that, and they play such outstanding team defense. That's the thing that I think separates them from everybody else. I know you and I kind of talked last year that we thought that maybe the teams this year were not as good as the prior years that have gone to state from the area, but this is one team that I think can actually play with some of those teams in the past that have won state championships because of their team defense. They really get after it. I mean, Coach Webster's done an outstanding job with that group. I really like how they could the inside out game. DJ Hall's the wild card guy. He had 31 points against Keller last week. Keller didn't have an answer for him down low last week. And if you can get him to play at that high of a level, I just don't think Plano East can get big. Now, on the other side of the bracket, if Stony Point wins, I think Stony Point matches up extremely well, especially with the Josiah kid on the other side for Stony Point. They kind of battled in that basketball tournament. It used to be the Waterburger tournament. They battled pretty tough, back in December. And after the game, it was kind of funny that both coaches kind of said, how this bracket's shaping up. We can see you guys again in March. So we're knocking on that door. We're very close. It'd be fun if we can see that again. But I just think that they're in a mission. John Tran is one of the best players on Plano East team. He hardly played the second half against Keller. That's how deep this Plano East team is. They can actually substitute 9 to 10 guys, and there's not a drop off. That's another reason why I like Plano East so well. They play so hard, but they stay fresh. So I'm still got my fingers crossed that they'll cut down the nets on Saturday night. I kind of predicted it early. I normally don't win any of these predictions, so it'd be nice to finally get one to go my way.
Yeah, Plano East, their second trip to state here, first in 30 years. Last time they made it, 1994, losing to Fort Bend Willow Ridge in the state championship. But yeah, Plano East. Of course, we have to talk about them, give them some love, for otherwise our buddy Matt Diggs, Professor Diggs, is gonna come
Yes, sir.
after us. Um,
He was smiling from ear to ear last weekend.
oh, I'm sure, and I'm expecting him to make the trip down to San Antonio as well.
He said he'll be there.
Plano East starts the semifinals Friday night, 7 p.m. They'll take on Mansfield Lake Ridge. We'll talk about them a little bit here. And then 8:30 p.m. semis is Stony Point, number 2 in the state, taking on Beaumont United, who's I think a couple years in 6A, but state titles and state trips just a few years ago in 5A. So I
Yeah,
think
ask
those
Kimball
two,
about them.
I think those two semifinals might be the best games of the week. So uh,
Yeah.
looking forward to it. Yeah, Lake Ridge, first trip to the state tournament. I was gonna say tough draw to get Plano East first, but it's going to be a tough draw if they were going to get the other two teams as well. But I got to see Lake Ridge a couple times. Most recently was regional quarterfinals against Waxahachie, where I mean, I don't know what happened in the fourth quarter. It was neck and neck, and all of a sudden Waxahachie went cold. Then they went on to beat Houston Nimitz and Rockwall in the Region Two tournament down in Lufkin. Yeah, they're playing some good ball. They finished third in their district. Tough district with Duncanville and Waxahachie, and here they are with the first trip to state. But Coach Mitchell doing a great job. Um, you know, I haven't seen Plano East at all, but I know again DG Hall is a big guy, and he's probably the glue there. But Lake Ridge, if they can shoot some threes. A lot of kids can hit the three if they can get it going. Then it could be a tough order for Plano East. But Amir McMillan is the number one, the point guard. Amari Rose, Matt Alexander, sort of the inside guy. But um, I don't remember. Have you seen Lake Ridge at all? And what do you think about this matchup?
I've only seen the highlights, obviously on the Channel 5 and the Channel 8 score when they've been on, or highlights that people have just tweeted out from them. But I do like the way they move the ball. They seem like like you said, their 3-point shooting. I mean, they could be a little streaky, it seems like. But if you get two or three of those guys hitting those threes, they're very tough to defend because they can spread you out and they can beat you off the dribble. I mean, I think Rose and McMillan have been just glues. I mean, they were great against Rockwall this week. I know everybody had Rockwall and Lake Ridge in that regional final when we did all the brackets last week. But I think that they've gained confidence after beating Waxahachie. Waxahachie had beat them twice during the year during district, and then Waxahachie had a lid on the basket in the fourth quarter. And you get a big win like that, sometimes that can kind of fuel you in there. And I think that that's propelled them last weekend to win that regional. It's a different ball game than when you're playing Plano East. It's just, it's a 92-foot game. Plano East is going to defend you from the bus all the way into the locker room. And I think you have to worry about, does Lake Ridge have enough bodies to observe that kind of defense that they're going to get for the next 32 minutes? That to me would be the key, is how, good thing is you get some TV timeouts and all that during this week. You can kind of spread out your timeouts that way. But I think he's going to have to use his timeouts to get a blow. But I really think that they can, especially like you said, the 3-point shooting. That is the one neutralizer. That is the eraser now in basketball. If you're hitting your threes, you can win. It doesn't matter who you are, what game it is. And if they start hitting their threes, and start extending Plano East and make DJ Hall have to defend the pick and roll, maybe you get some easy baskets that way. I'm still picking Plano East, but I do think Lake Ridge will make this. It won't be. I think Lake Ridge is going to make this a game.
So right now, are you talking in Lake East as the 6A champs?
I've got Plano East 6A champs.
All right.
I think Coach Webster's we're going to get a big smile out of him. He's not a man of many smiles, but I have a feeling about 10:30 on Saturday night, we're going to have that feeling of exasperation, and he's going to finally smile as the Panthers and Matt Diggs will be state champions.
Yeah, I won't be surprised if Matt Diggs finds his way on the court for the presentation. But like I mentioned, Plano East first time in 30 years, and I'm just kind of looking it up right now. For any Plano school, really, 2015 was the last when Plano West won it all.
Plano West won it all. DJ Holt shot. from the
Plano,
top of the key.
Plano
I think,
Senior, Plano
and if
Senior
I'm
won in
thinking
week
correct,
six.
that was the first year that the state tourney was in San Antonio. I think that was the first year that they moved it from Austin to San Antonio, 2015. Could
Yeah,
be off maybe by a year,
yeah.
but yeah,
Big shout out to Plano East. Been 9 years since Plano SD made the state. Talking to Kenny Matthews with Friday Night Glory. We'll move down to 5A. Overall, really, we have a DFW team in each class.
mhm.
If how you look at it, we might have to talk to Mr. Diggs on his confirmation. But yeah, we have Lake Ridge and Plano East in 6A. We have Lancaster in 5A, Oak Cliff, Lake Fountain in 4A, Ponder in 3A. And then you start getting to the west side with Brock and Weatherford and Mineral Wells. So we have Lipad in 2A, and then if we want to count Gordon in 1A. So if Mr. Diggs is watching and wants to confirm uh, at least Gordon, is Gordon DFW, let us know. But in
We're
5A,
we'll adopt them for our pod.
yeah. In 5A, Lancaster is back. First trip since 2020. They didn't get to play because of COVID. So kind of really their first state game since 2016. Um, they were able to win the 5A Region 2 tournament down in Garland over Lone Star and the Colony. And one of their top players, one of the top players in the state and the country, really, Dylan Batty, who was actually our GM Sports Boys Basketball Player of the
Like,
Week.
yeah.
Back-to-back double doubles, monster double doubles, 22 and 10 against Lone Star and 23 and 19 um, against the Colony. But
They needed every bit of that against the Colony. It did.
they get to start against Amarillo, the Region 1 champ, who knocked off Mansfield Summit in the semifinals. They played 8:30 Thursday night. Just like Plano East #1 in the state, 6A, Lancaster #1 in 5A. The other team, San Antonio Vets, Memorial, and Colleen Ellison. If I asked you on a percent, how confident are you Lancaster comes away with a state title?
I would probably say that I'm about 35%. I think they're a slight favorite to win it. I think they are. I mean, I love the coaching pedigree of Lancaster. Coaches Ferry and Douglas has done an extremely great job with that group, that program. I think I read somewhere that they've qualified for the playoffs now 39 straight years. I mean, that's incredible considering the fact that we used to only have one team qualify for the playoffs, and then we used to only have two teams qualify from district in the playoffs for a number of years. So that number is pretty astounding to me. Um, you got to really like the way the Petit kid has played. I think he was on Channel 5 last week, and you can see a maturation of growth with him. His game is really elevated. I mean, like you said, he's cleaning the boards, he's putting the putbacks, he's the intimidating guy kind of down low, which I'm not sure. I think he may be the most talented player in the 5A going, this time around in San Antonio this weekend. And anytime you have the best player, I think that gives you the advantage. But I like the way Lancaster plays defense. And let me take this back for it. Coach Cleve, what he did with the Colony against them last week, that was a great coaching job. I thought Coach Cleve did with the Colony. I didn't think the Colony had a shot at winning that game. Heck, Pearl. I mean, he is shooting to try to win that game against the highly favored, Lancaster game, last week. So major props to Coach Cleve on that. But it's just I think that Lancaster's just playoff battle tested. It just seems like year after year after year after year, you have to really play an extremely good game to knock them out. And I think you're going to have to bring your A game to beat them. You bring your B game, I don't think it's enough.
Yeah, that's going to be a really good semifinal with Amarillo, who's kind of been one of the best teams in 5A for a few years now. Again, beating uh, Mansfield Summit and then winning that regional down in Wichita Falls.
Shoot the ball extremely well. They kind of remind me of Keller. They make the extra pass, they make the extra pass. It seems like one guy's got a great look, but he'll even give it off to a better look to somebody. It's something about the Amarillo team. It doesn't matter if it's girls or guys. It's the same. It's the same mojo. So you don't want to get. They'll lull you to sleep if that makes sense. You think you've got everything covered, and then all of a sudden somebody's open in the corner. It's just they lull you. You put your guard down for half a second, and you're going to give up a bucket. So I think you have to play disciplined basketball against Amarillo, and that can be frustrating for a very athletic team.
Yeah, those West Texas teams are always pretty good. Amarillo first trip since 2021 in 5A. Again, we mentioned Beaumont United. That's when they won state. Um, so
You did mention that. That was some of the best basketball games we probably ever seen at state was against Kimball. I mean, goodness.
let's talk about again the top three classes here are 6, 5, and 4A. All number one teams in the state with Plano East, Lancaster, and Oak Cliff Fate Family. If if you were to rank those three, one being the most confident you think is going to win state, to three least confident, how would you rank them? Plano East,
That's a good
Lancaster,
question.
and Fate Family.
That's a good question. Good question. I like that one. I think the prohibited favorite to win is going to be Faith Family. I think that they are. I think I think they're heads and heels on both better than the other three teams in 4A. Then I would go with Plano East, and then I would go with Lancaster. I think Plano East is very close to Faith Family. I just think Faith Family's got the most talent. And the pedigree, Coach Brandon Thomas. I mean, what can we say? He's going for his fourth title since 2019. He didn't get it in one of those years was COVID, so he probably would have won it that year too. If we assume things here. I think you also want to kind of bow out with winning that last 4A state championship since Faith Family will be getting bumped up to 5A next year. I think that plays hands also with Lancaster. I think Lancaster wants to go out with a bang and win their last 5A state championships because they're going to get bumped up next year, where it's going to be an extremely tough district for them, a tough road to get back to state, going up against the powers of like DeSoto and Duncanville and Waxahachie. But getting ahead, as I said, I think it's Faith Family would be my number one. I think I would be stunned if Faith Family does not win a state championship. And I think I'd be pretty stunned if Plano East doesn't do it as well. Lancaster, I think they have a tougher road.
Yeah, first trip was 2019, and since then they made it to state every year. So that's now 6 years in a row. Again, 2020 didn't get to play because of COVID, and then 2021 losing to eventual state champ Argyle, who finished the year 32-1. But try and go for that three-peat, and again, 4 titles in last 6 before they get bumped up to 5A here, and they will play 3 p.m. semifinal on Friday against Stafford, and the 1:30 semifinal 4A is Canyon Randall and Silsby. But yeah,
funny.
I didn't get a chance. I didn't get a chance to see Faith this year, but they're looks like they have the worst record of any semifinal team, but that's because they're playing some of the top teams and
Yeah, they play prep schools. The Mountainvilles.
They're always top, at least top 3 in the state, and then before the playoffs started, they got bumped up to number 1. So kind of a smart decision there for the rankings, but.
They kind of take a page out of what Madison used to do. Madison used to do that. Madison would play a bunch of 5 and 6A schools in non-district and be like, 7 and 10, and then they would be cutting down the nets 3 months later. It's crazy. But I mean, I really think the job it's kind of funny now. Coach Thomas's kid, we've actually seen him grow up here in the last 6 years. Last year seeing him on that stage when they won the state championship, I was like, is that little baby that used to come here to San Antonio? And now he's running around as an 11-year-old. It's crazy. But yeah, Coach Thomas has done a phenomenal job. I know he got a lot of heat last year at that press conference, thinking that he's recruiting and can bring all these players in. Even if you bring the players in, you still got to get them to buy into the team concept. I said you can just, you can be a talented team. It doesn't mean you're going to win a state championship. Got to have things go right for them. So far, the water's been pretty good over there in Fay family.
Yeah, down in the 2A, we have Ponder, who's making it for the first time in 10 years. They last trip they made it 2014. They won state, going for title number 5.
Yes.
Back in the day, they won 3 in a row from '08 to 2010.
Mm-hmm.
They will start on Thursday at 1:30 p.m. against Holiday. Holiday's 34-2, Ponder 36-6. Ponder, just kind of watching the tweets, the regional final. I mean, they're playing Paradise, who was a district rival, and probably a
Have to
lot
beat them for the third time.
lot of probably a lot of good defense, but at the same time, probably so a lot of missed shots. But it was ended up being 28-24. So
Was it the four corners?
yeah.
That's what I was wondering.
Well, hopefully they can score a little more, because you're not going to win a state game with 28 points.
Yeah. Well, the one good thing Ponder's got going for them, they're on a 27 game winning streak. There's something to that, still winning, even if it's ugly, you're still winning. I mean, Holiday's going to be a tough task. I mean, there's no question about that. Holiday's played extremely well all year, but JD Sullivan's really got this bunch believing that they can win. And I think that that's also something that I think is very underrated when a coach can almost will his team to win, to have those guys believing into the system. But they're going to have to put the ball in the bucket, and sometimes you get down to San Antonio in that big arena. It's hard to put that ball in the bucket because you don't have that shooting background. They're going to have to find their stroke. If they can find their stroke, I think that they can hang with Holiday, but you just can't have those long lapses of offense where you're not putting the ball in the bucket. You don't want to get down in San Antonio. I've noticed that you get down early in San Antonio, sometimes that can really snowball on you real quick because you start forcing things. And the last thing Ponder needs to do is force the offense. They need to let it come naturally to them. So it'll be interesting to see that. But I think if they can get off to a good start and build confidence, they got a shot. I'm not calling it a big one. I'm not calling it a big shot, but I think they can.
Down in 2A, you got the familiar face in Lipan, defending champs last year. Lipan boys winning 2A over La Pointer. They're going for title number 5 as well, and this is their 15th trip to the state tournament. They beat Munster in their regional final over the weekend. They get up bright and early Friday in the 2A semifinals. First game on Friday, 8:30, Lipan versus New Home, and then the 10 a.m. semi is Thrall versus Shelbyville. So another team that's kind of used to going down the state a lot, and so Lipan's got to be the favorite there in 2A.
And isn't it another program that's in from the Metroplex that we don't talk enough about? I mean, it seems like year after year they're there in San Antonio and they're cutting down the nets, and we don't give them mention. And I take blame for that myself. I don't talk about him, but we really like Coach Guy again. I mean, he's a great guy. He's been there forever. He gets his guys ready to play. And then most often he only has about 6 or 7 guys he could play with too. So
Not a lot,
it's so you always go, please nobody roll an ankle or anything like this, because you look at the bench and there's 3 guys there, and there's more assistant coaches than guys that are on the bench. But the lights are not too big for him, obviously, and they know how to come down there and win, both guys and girls. I mean, they come to San Antonio and they're not down there just to say, hey, we're here. They come down there to win, and they more often than not they have been. I think the one thing about Lipan is that they used to be 1A, they were dominant, and now they get moved up to 2A, and they're still getting, San Antonio. What's the one consistent? Coach Gainer. That's That's the reason why they're still a very successful program. So yes, I think that they have to be highly favored to get their sixth title.
Yeah, they won back-to-back 1A titles in 17 and 18, and then they got bumped up to 2A. This is actually their fourth straight trip to state, but so far they're 1 and 2
One
at
and two.
in
Yeah.
2A. So they'll be looking
And
for.
they lost last year in the state final, didn't they?
No, last year they're defending champs. They beat,
Champion. Yes, right. Okay, it was the year before.
and then Clarendon it was back-to-back champs in 21 and 22. So
Yeah. Okay.
Light looking for their fifth title and second in 2A. And then we'll just touch base here, give them a shout out. We'll include them. Gordon, I had to look it up. Looks like they're just a little bit west of Mineral Wells, so it's out away from us, but we'll include them. And big time shout out to them because it's their first trip to state, and they did it by knocking off number one ranked and defending champ Grayford in the regional
Right.
final
Yeah.
in overtime. So
Yeah.
big shout out to Gordon. And let's see, Gordon. Gordon is the Thursday semifinals. Brian and Early. First game all week is Benjamin versus Gordon, and then the other 1A semi 10 is Jayton and Fayetteville. So some good games. Obviously, again, you'll be there for the 6A semis, 7 and 8:30 on Friday, and then you got all six state
Yeah.
championship games on Saturday, starting with the 1A final at 8:30, and the 8:30 p.m. is 6A. You can check it
And the
out.
six and the 6A will kick off about what tip off about 10 p.m.
Yeah, and we'll end at like 12 or 1. Um, you can check out those times and schedules on our site, gmsportsmedia.com, or you can go to the UI website for records and times as well as live stats. And then, so before I let you go, gotta give some shout outs. So Kenny's kudos. We'll bring that back. Uh, who do you got? Who do you got today, Kenny?
I got a couple of kudos. My first kudos goes to Coach Ware for Keller. I thought he did a remarkable job. You know, losing Barr, the way he did the last game of the season, the BYU commit, for him to get his team focused and give Plano East, every time Plano East, bumped that thing up to 12, 14, 16 points, they had an answer. They're going to be really good next year. The Ramirez kid, the Fabian kid come back for them next year. Coach Ware, you did hands-on a great coaching job getting that Keller Indian bunch to the regional final last week, and I think you probably lost to the eventual state champion, but that's okay. My second kudos is going to go out to. We're going to go and touch a softball here. What about Jordan Osborne with the grand slam in extra innings last night against Prosper in the eighth? Chloe Geyer bounces back after the tough loss against Plano East this past weekend. And I mean, Jordan, she was sporting the sombrero before she started that and then hits a bomb to put them up. Those are the kind of wins I think you need to have during the regular season that builds the confidence for you coming in the playoff stretch. Unfortunately for Geyer, it's championship or bust this year, probably for them. So, you feel badly for that. But, it's a big win for them. And I like seeing Jordan, come up big every now and then. So that was nice.
Awesome. Yeah, it was actually Walnut Grove that beat Geyer.
Oh, that's Wildlife Grove. That's right. Wildlife Grove. That's right. That was Plano East beat
Melissa. Yeah.
Melissa. Yeah, Melissa. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
Geyer, 6A state runner-up last year, and now I believe they're 14-1, and so that district opener. So, great job by Jordan and Coach Keith Medford. Um, and then I'll just quickly, because you covered it yesterday, but number one team in 5A for us, GM Sports, and number one 5A and for DFW Fast Pitch, Melissa. Again, tough loss with Plano East, but bounced back. You got to watch them yesterday, taking on Lovejoy in the district opener. Lovejoy scores first, and then Melissa scores 8 unanswered to win that game. And I told Coach Crabtree, I asked her just, what are you feeding those kids? Because They're up to 40 home runs right now. Her daughter Kagan Crabtree has 10. Just uh, it seems like right now that Melissa. I know there's plenty of great teams in 5A across the state, but as far as DFW, I mean, it's going to run through Melissa, isn't it?
I think the length of their lineup, that's the difference from this team and the past two teams. I mean, after Needham, the last couple of years, you had some outs in that lineup at the bottom of the lineup. That lineup is 7, 8, potentially 9 deep, and I mean that's not a stretch. That's not an overestimate. That's not me overstating that. And it's powerful. Yet they got all these people stealing bases too. It's an abundance of riches. If they get on base, they're stealing bases and they're waiting for the 3-run homer. And if you can get Star, I mean, the freshman pitcher came in last night. She looked really good in the last 2 innings. If you can get Star not having to pitch every inning in the playoffs, I think that's really going to be big for Melissa. She's been stretched out pretty good when it comes to playoff time, where, if it goes 3 games, she's pitched all 3 games. Now, I talked to Crabtree after the game last night. I said, wouldn't it be nice to win the first game of a 3-game set and not have to pitch Star in game 2? The pitch, your backup, so that way you can have a fresh start for your 3rd game. We have to be concerned a little bit. Star's got a little bit of a sore arm. She's not 100% right now, but all she did was just strike out 9. So, with a sore arm. So, but yeah, they're going to be I think them, and I mean, and again, Alito. I mean, Alito's pitching's been at a high level already too this year. I mean, Gonzalez, I believe she's going to Texas Tech, correct? Yeah. I mean, she's been phenomenal for Alito, so you can't count them out, obviously, there either. But I mean, the road goes to Melissa, I think, no question.
Awesome. Yeah. Again, Melissa winning 8-1. Home runs by Kagan Crabtree, Isabel Gonzalez, Rihanna Wheeler, and
The one that Wheeler hit yesterday, goodness. that was a base hit that left the yard.
there was one more, right? Did someone else hit a home run?
It was.
It was Crabtree, Wheeler, Gonzalez, and the freshman, Lulu Adrian.
Hutton.
Yeah.
Adrian Hutton. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she hit her. Yeah, she's hitting, I believe, behind. Hutton's hitting behind Crabtree. I think Needham is hitting 5th. So,
Yeah.
I mean, Hutton's going to get some pitches.
So I was looking at their lineup, and quite a few freshmen, coming up big. That's Lulu's 6th home run this season. Again, Crabtree is at 10. She's and then the freshman pitcher as well. The thing too, and we'll have a softball podcast as well here, but you just mentioned kind of playoffs and not having Star. Alex Star's her name. She's going to Michigan, committed to Michigan State, but uh, last year their playoff run, they went pretty deep, but uh, all their playoff series were 1-gamers. So, Coach Crabtree, kind of got to do a better job here, get some luck on your side if you want some 3-game sets. But because I mean, at that point, it's like you have a 1-game series, and I mean, you kind of have to have Alex out there, but still, if the freshman is if Alex ever runs into a problem and the freshman comes in and is lights out, then that goes a long way.
And I was talking with Crabtree a little bit about this. They lose. They win that first game their freshman year against Bullard, who went to state, and then they lose the next 2 to Bullard. You could tell that they all knew then that hey, we probably need to get some pitching help. We need to develop another pitcher, and it just didn't work out that way. And I also think that the 1-game sets in the playoffs, Goss. I know we've talked about this. You play 1 game, you're used to playing multiple games in a week. You get out of your habit. You play 1 game, you got 6 days that you're not playing anything meaningful.
Yeah.
I mean, it gets you kind of out of that, the routine that you've been in. That's why I always thought the 3-game set. And in baseball and softball, I mean, you can just not have it for 1 game. Against a really bad team,
Right.
And your season's over. Ask Legacy last year. You know, you played one game set against Royce City, and you're home. You know, I mean, it's a brutal way to end it. It's a brutal way. I wish they all would be 2 out of 3.
Yeah, totally agree. But like I said, once the basketball season starts, we'll do some softball podcasts and we'll get that going. But again, Kenny, Friday Night Glory, he'll be down there Friday night, 7 and 8:30 p.m. for the 6A semis, and then the all the championship games on
Yes,
Saturday. But thanks again, buddy, for hopping on, Chocolate Bear. Safe travels down there. Have a good time.
I will, man. Appreciate you. The Goss, keep doing what you're doing. How many shows is this now for you?
I think this might be we're probably hitting near 70.
Oh, I did the first one. You've done 69 cents. Not
Yeah,
bad.
I'll probably have you on for the 100th.
I will bring here my top cat and cane, baby.
Awesome. All right, that's Kenny Matthews, the Chocolate Bear, Friday Night Glory. You can check them out on YouTube and on Twitter. You can check us
Um,
out, GM Sports Media as well. Appreciate you guys all the support and following us. But
Absolutely.
again, that was boys basketball starting Thursday, San Antonio Alamo Dome. If you can't make it, you can always see live stats or live stream NFHS. Should be some good games. We wish the best of luck to all those teams down there. But
Absolutely.
we'll wrap it up here. Another show, Game Time with the Goss. Aloha, yes, mahalo. Um, Again, check us out on YouTube for this and all the other Game Time with the Goss. But I'm Brian Gossett. Thanks to our sponsors of VV Athletics and Big Daddy Media. I'm with GM Sports Media, and we will see you next time.